did. So we're gonna get started on reviewing our chapters. Let me go 1 year. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. At least they've been alive for a good time. Cause when I got my dog, he was 4 months old, and it was a nightmare. It was such a nightmare. You said post a picture in the community so we can like your kitty if you're comfortable with doing that. So let's see. We are on chapter 21. The first thing I want to just recap the very last little bit of the previous chapter, and that is that Muhan Zhang, at least you don't have to train the cats. Exactly. Muhan Zhang doesn't want Jing Shao to show the care and favor that he's been getting to anyone else. Guys, guess if I finally read these chapters? This is my guess. No. I don't think you read the chapters. I if let me know if my guess is right or wrong. I would love if you did read them though. So anyway, yeah, Muhan Zhang is thinking about the fact that he truly doesn't want Jing Shao to smile upon anyone else. So that brings us to chapter 21 called Opportunity, which oh my god. This was this was a mess in this chapter. Also a very short chapter, so we're going to go through it. I'm right. I knew you didn't read. I hope at some point you do. It's so good. Really, really good. So, we have in chapter 21 titled Opportunity, Jing Shao suddenly asks Muhan Zhang if he wants to learn how to use concealed weapons from Nine Blades Ghost, who was a vigilante before, and he's very exceptional. So there was one point in time where they had martial artists who were so capable that they could overthrow the throne if they wanted to. But now those people don't really exist. And a lot of the masters, if you will, are in the Imperial Guard. So they're not like the ones that are free and living life. They are far fewer and in between. But this Nine Blades Ghost happens to be one of them, and he has offered his services. And so Muhan Zhang is kind of like, I mean, basically my inner force sucks. Remember, I was thrown into a pond, pushed into a pond, so I don't really have anything. And so Jing Shao makes a mental note like, okay, I'm going to ask him to create weapons that don't require any inner force, which I just think is great. I mean, at the end of the day, even if you don't have inner force and you can't be like a great martial artist, it would be nice if you can defend yourself, because not everybody that you come across is going to be some great martial artist who's out to get you. Sometimes it's just going to be common folk fighting common folk, and you got to know how to defend yourself. Okay. So you said it's okay. I went straight to bed and only just got up. Today is catch up. Well, you're going to have a lot to catch up on. But yes, that's totally fine. So spoilers abound, of course. Yes. So then we have them, just sitting and talking. And then suddenly Muhan Zhang is like, well, maybe he's not like that. The point is he starts shaking and his teacup clatters to the ground, and he gets up and he's like dizzy and everything. And it's like, oh my gosh, Junting, are you okay? Jing Shao's like, what's wrong with my love? Turns out it's an aphrodisiac. Now, when I first read it, my little note that I have here says, please tell me that you didn't dose yourself. And again, I was thinking about this all the way from the last chapter when we had the wet nurse tell him, like, if you don't give him some, basically he's going to find someone else. And so I was really, really hoping that this wasn't a scenario where Muhan Zhang gave himself an aphrodisiac to get him in the mood and ready to have sex with Jing Shao. Fortunately, that was not the case. He said a little plot pusher. I thought that in context when I read it too. Also, hi. This he said Muhan Zhang doesn't need the system to be like, would you like a plot pusher? What was it called in SVSSS? I'm trying to remember what it was called. Not plot pusher, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He didn't need this. We have someone else pushing the plot. You said his hubby pushing himself. That's totally what I thought. Yes, a scenario pusher. Yeah, scenario pusher. I said this is what happened is happening right here. And so first off, Muhan Jang's like, I'm fine, it's gonna be okay. Meanwhile, Jing Shao was like, investigate who did this. In the meantime, I'm gonna take him away to bed. So of course, Muhan Jang is like, just leave me alone. It'll wear off in a minute. The Jing Shao. I have to I have to go back to what it said because basically it was basically like Jing Shao seeing him all feverish and everything. He couldn't resist pouncing on him. He was so thirsty. Dude was so thirsty. He was like, "Oh, this is the perfect opportunity. He's got an aphrodisiac. Ding ding ding." And I was just like, "Jing Shao, you were so thirsty." So you said you repeated scenario pusher so many times, it stopped being real, and now I'm cackling. He was me. I volunteer as tribute. Right, he was so thirsty. He was like, I got you, babe. Don't worry. You got an aphrodisiac? No problem. And so he's just like, messing with his clothing and everything. And he's like, don't be scared. I do appreciate that he was like, don't be scared. I won't go all the way. Just trust me. Like, I'm just gonna help relieve you. That's all that we're doing here. And I was like, okay, good, because even though yes this is an opportunity, it's also not an opportunity. Like, for you to, if he were to try to like take advantage of that and go all the way, I would have been so upset. But instead he was like, let me just do a little something just to literally help you out. You said, do you need to get out of the blanket, Utma? Do you want an extra blanket? If you're cold, here, you can have this one. There you go. Hope that helps. So anyway, then we moved down, and this is why I was so upset with the nanny. Because it says Muhan Jang, in that moment, he was mesmerized by Jing Shao first off, because Jing Shao was hot. But then he recalled the nanny's words from earlier. You're welcome. He recalled those words of her saying, if you don't give him a little something, then he's gonna find someone else. And I was just like, ugh. Screw y'all for pushing this stuff on him. And then, I mean, he basically is like, he's just going to endure this. And so, on the bright side, at least we know that he feels something for Jing Shao, which it is said. He was like, it's not as though he felt nothing for the man, So he was like, fine, I'll just let him do something. Okay. I just hate that he felt like he needed to do something. So he said, you don't need to get out. It's okay. So he ends up taking care of his baby, but nothing too crazy. He's kissing all on him and everything, and he jerks him off, essentially, is what he does. So then once Muhan Jang is taken care of course, he knows that like Jing Shao got hot as well. And he was like, let me take care of you. And Jing Shao was like, okay. He wasn't like, some of the Danmei I've read where it's like, no, we were just focusing on you. That's all right. No, that man was like, oh, really? Okay. And he grabbed his hand and pulled it down. He was like, thank you. I was like, that's so funny. You said you'll also endure the thirst. But I was just like, Ding Shao, can you be any more thirsty? So it was just funny because at first he was just going to take care of it in the bathroom. And Muhan Jang was like, no, I got you. And then it was funny because it was like after almost 2 hours later, you guys, they were finally like just laying down in bed, and Muhan Jang was glaring at Jing Shao because he made him climax a second time. While they like were messing around, he no longer had the aphrodisiac in his system, but Jing Shao was still like, And I was like, don't glare at him. You know you liked it. We all know you liked it. So you said your signal is bad on the train, so you're stuck in buffering hell. Oh no! Okay, stupid train. Well, I hope it gets better fast. You said you had that hit. Yeah, I do remember you saying you had some buffering yesterday, and I was like, boo. So, that was pretty much all of chapter 21. And then the only thing that happened was they found out that concubine Lee was the culprit. And I had put before even going to the next chapter, I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Not to say she may not have had anything to do with it, but I definitely didn't think that concubine Lee was alone in this. You said you're back, and luckily we haven't gotten much further. Yay, I'm glad you're back. So, aphrodisiac taken care of, culprit concubine Lee. But that's not all. Because when we get to chapter 22, that's when we get into more investigations. So, on page 207, my note just says stupid concubines concubining. Pretty much. That's pretty much all that is happening. And so I guess the concubines really are stupid because they want to use an aphrodisiac on the prince, and it's a male aphrodisiac. There's a male consort who also gets affected by the aphrodisiac. So all you did was push them two together. And they like completely forgot about that. I was like, yeah, y'all women are so stupid. Y'all are so stupid. So they were plotting together. It's insane. Doping someone in Imperial Family House and expects it's cool. Like what? Okay. So then, and then you even mentioning that, it's like the punishment for that was to beat them to death by a club. I ain't trying to be funny. I don't care what is happening. What I am not about to do is put an I am not about to drug my husband because I don't want to be beaten to death. I don't even want there to be an inkling of that getting traced back to me and then I'm getting beaten to death. Like that's not the same as just being killed like with a shot or getting your head chopped off, but that is enduring pain, so much freaking pain until you die. Like I'm not going to do this. And they are aware that this is the punishment. That's the thing to me that's just like baffling. I wouldn't even try my hand at something like this, but who am I? We're smart over here. We're not going to try that kind of stuff. So, yes, tampering with food is extremely dangerous. And that's something that Muhan Jang, I think, points out earlier in his mind. He was, actually on page 209, I have highlighted where he was thinking if they were capable of spiking his food today, they could easily poison it tomorrow. So it's just like, no, I was perfectly fine with being the punishment being death, regardless of how it came, because sure, why not? I was totally for it. You said if it weren't obvious he's the current fave, then maybe, but when you're differently not, I would rather get shot. You hear me? Yes, those concubines have a single brain cell or like combined. They're sharing that one cell. And so we have here where Lady Lee swears up and down it wasn't her. And then eventually, she was like, it was Madame Song. She was the one that came up with the Your Highness, please forgive me. Please spare my life. And so Madame Song basically was trying to kill two birds with one stone, which I know that I've translated this for you guys before because it is an idiom, but it's Yi Shi Er Niao. Yi Shi Er Niao. So two birds, one stone. And she was hoping that she would be out of all of that and be able to cause troubles for everyone else. Meanwhile, she stays out of it. So anyway, then we get to the part where basically the servants, we have Monxi, which I have not liked this servant from the beginning. I despise this servant because she was looking down on the country bumpkin servants, if you will, and she's just not cool. So basically, Concubine Li pointed to Mengxi and was like, "Yeah, it was her. She's the one that took care of it." So then, of course, Mengxi was like, "No, it wasn't me." And she was trying to make it seem like it was someone else's fault, and Zhishi had to do something with it. And so Zhishi, a servant Zhishi, was originally going to be loyal to servant Mengxi and not say anything. But seeing that she was throwing her under the bus too, she was like, "Oh, that's how it is? Well, let me go ahead and just tell it like it really is then." And so Mengxi ended up being the one to get beaten to death. And everybody could hear her cries, "Ah!" as she got beaten. And then, it just was what it was. And so eventually, Madame Song was brought into the area as well. And, she was observing what was happening. Okay. And then she was thinking that maybe all was fine for her, basically. So then we have this one moment where, because Mu Hanjiang was the one that was like, okay, drag her out and beat her to death. So he was very decisive and very resolute. And Jing Shao was looking at him with admiration, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, my consort is so fucking hot right now. Like, she just told them to drag her out and beat her to death. Oh, I love it." Meanwhile, Mu Hanjiang is like, "Oh my god, he's staring at me. He must think that I'm like too cruel and cold blooded. Clearly, that was the wrong choice." And I'm like, "Sir, quite the contrary." And so he finally looks at him and sees that he just has a look of adoration in his eyes. And he was like, "Wait, right, of course. This man has been a soldier since he was 14. Of course, if anyone understands that sometimes you gotta kill, it would be him." So he kind of calmed down after that. He was like, "Okay, everything is fine." And so we have, again, Madame Song is thinking that she's fine. And we have Duofu was instructed to send concubine Li to the nunnery tomorrow. And I just thought this was quite interesting because that was a punishment that Madame Song came up with, to send them to the nunnery. But then here's the thing: even in him meting out punishment, Mu Hanjiang is still a kind person at heart, because he says that she may keep her hair. And that's such a small detail, but it is so important. Like, especially, we know in ancient Chinese times, I mean, shoot, even the men had super, super long hair. The women, super long hair. To get all of that chopped off, oh my God. So even when giving her that punishment, he was like, "Let her keep her hair." So that's one concubine that is taken care of, who will no longer be in the harem, if you will. You said, Jing Shao was fanning himself, consumed with lust for the rest of the evening. No, Madame Song came up with the beating by death, and the nunnery was the original. Oh yeah, sorry, I must have mixed that up. Yeah. So you said that your family and personal respect, exactly. So he let it alone, and so then we have, going further, where Madame Song thinks she's in the clear, like maybe this was just a warning, right? Wrong. Very, very wrong. Because Jing Shao says that tomorrow, or I'm sorry, by the morrow, he is going to demote Song Lingxin to a serving concubine. So she's no longer part of the harem, too. I was like, well, that's one concubine taken off. That's the secondary wife taken off. Ha 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 ha. And so then I have this highlight here. I think out of everything we read thus far, I finally came across a comment that a quote that I like. And that was, "He was looking at a single spoonful of purity in a sea of mud." I just really liked that. So there we have it. That was pretty much the end of that. And then we get to, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, so then for the rest of this chapter, we really just have Jing Shao pretending to be excited about this whole barbarian situation and wanting to, like, go head to head with them. He's pretending to be excited. Meanwhile, in the end, the emperor conveys his decree that the first prince, Jing Zhong, is the one who's going to lead the suppression of the barbarians. So it was not Jing Shao. Mission accomplished. So that was chapter 22. Moving to chapter 23, which is the temple fair. Oh my gosh. We have basically Jing Shao's final plan for his other concubine is to send her to the fourth prince. And they're going to wait until he goes off to defeat the troops and everything. But he's like, yeah, we can just give concubine Liu to the fourth prince as a gift because she was a gift and the gift can be regifted. Just go ahead, wrap it back up, put a bow on it, give it to someone else. So that eliminates all concubines, leaving only Mu Hanzhong as the consort, and that's it. And I was just like, oh, I really like this because, in a lot of stories, and not talking about Danmei stories, but in a lot of just ancient Chinese stories, period, there's, the emperor and the princes have multiple wives, multiple concubines, everything. You never hear of a prince or an emperor just sticking with one woman and that being it. And so I just thought it was super cool that he's like, yeah, we can get rid of the rest of them. I only want and I only need you. So boom. Let's see. You said such a chef's kiss of manipulating first prince into it. Yes. He's like, let me pretend I'm excited to do it. And then at one point he is no longer excited. And then he's like, oh, it's because of a fortune or a sorcerer or whatever it was. He was like, no, it wouldn't be in my favor to go and do this. And so his dad is like, yeah, spend a month writing out the art of war 10 times. What are you doing? But anyway, you said poor women in this society. Yeah, exactly. Especially when your station is low enough. Yep. So then again, moving to what was I on? Chapter 23, Temple Fair. You say you getting scammed, son. So Muhan Zhang is helping Jing Shao copy the art of war. And that's because Jing Shao can't sit still. So that man's writing a couple pages and then he's like, I'm going to go practice the sword. And so Muhan Zhang is like, see, this is why your dad gave you this punishment because he knows you can't sit still. This is awful for you. And so he ends up looking at the handwriting. And because he had to do his homework for his elder brother and cousins and stuff before, he knows perfectly well how to forge handwriting. And so Muhan Zhang does it. Jing Shao eventually comes back and see that he went from like 5 pages to over 30. He's like, you did this? And it looks just like my handwriting? It's like, oh my God. So that I thought that was cute. And also just it was just funny. He was like, let me help this man because otherwise this art of war is not going to get finished. So let me just go ahead and help him out. So he said Muhan is a weapon. He is. There are just so many things that he's good at, and he underrates himself so much. Meanwhile, Prince Jing Shao is just like, oh no, this is excellent. Oh no, this is excellent too. Oh no, this is excellent as well. And he's just like, no, it was just me doing that. No, this is great. Oh, it was just a little something, something. And Jing Shao was just like, you are gold. You are the single purity in a sea of mud. Okay. You said my hubby got ADHD. I gotta help. Muhan dangerous in so many ways. Yes, which is scary. We'll see what happens in the future with all that he's capable of doing. So, we have at some point, Jing Shao decides to take Muhan Zhang to. Let me get the name of this place again, because all I remember is the something of nostalgia. The restaurant with the Jojin, the flavor of nostalgia. And he wants Muhan to hang out with Jojin, but instantly regret it because the two of them hit it off and they're having fun. Meanwhile, the husbands get left by themselves. They just get left by himself. Exactly. He does live up to his name. So, but he's just sharing his husband with someone else. He'll get over it. So then we have Jing Shao, actually, before I do that, there is also a name here, which hold on. I'm going to make sure I'm doing this in order. Yes, there was a new name here because they ran into. Oh, no, no, no. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right in order. So Jing Shao, while they were hanging out on the street and eating and everything, he sees a woman in pink that he recognizes. And then he just runs off. He just runs off and goes to chase her, leaving Muhan all by himself. And so when he does that, someone approaches Muhan Jang, and it is Mu Yang Wen. Mu, you said ADHD brain. Like clearly, come on, my guy. She was the squirrel, and he was the dog. And he was like, "Oh, squirrel!" and just ran off. Like, sir, what are you doing? So then his cousin, Mu Hanjang's cousin, Mu Yang Wen, eventually comes out and he was like, "Oh, look, you don't even have a bodyguard. Your prince just left you." Wah, wah. And so then eventually, like his brother, Mu Ling Bao, and his other cousin, Mu Hua Feng, show up as well. And they're saying some mean things. We know they're saying some mean things. And eventually, Jing Shao loses track of the woman. So he returns and he sees the upset face on Muhan Zhang, but he doesn't see the people that he's interacting with. So he just immediately assumes that they are lechers. So what does he do? He goes up to them and he's just like, ching, 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 pow, pow. Beats the crap out of them, essentially, not necessarily, but he definitely gives Mu Ling Bao a black eye and kicks the other two down. And Muhan Zhang was like, those were, and Jing Shao was looking at his bodyguards like, y'all supposed to be the bodyguards. Y'all just let these lechers mess with my baby. Only for him to realize, oh, it was his family. And so Muhan Jong is trying his hardest to like basically to not be as amused by this as he is. He is just like, this is hilarious. And so with that, Jing Shao actually feels excited and he's like, maybe I need to beat them up more often because Muhan Jong is very happy about this. You said 50 years later, Muhan watching him run off and just going, sigh. I'll check the microchip. Zero impulse control. So yeah, that whole thing was funny to me. And then we do learn the name of the woman he was chasing, which is Ruo Yi. Ruo Yi. Ruo Yi. Or Ge Ruo Yi. So yes. My note says he returns throwing hands because that's what happened. So we move to, well, chapter 24, which is entitled after this lady, Zhuo Yi. And again, like I said, Jing Shao is definitely planning on tormenting Ling Bao and his cousins. He's like, you know what? Maybe on the anniversary of that event this year, he's going to find someone to toss them into the river for a little swim. I'm just like, I love it. So he's going to torment you guys for the rest of your lives because of what you did to his baby. So just have fun with that. So, of course, seeing him run off to look for this woman, Muhan Zhang wants to know who this mystery woman is. And there was one point in which he was going to say something, but he didn't because he chickened out, basically, because he's thinking, Jing Shao is like staring off into space or whatever, thinking about this woman, and he's getting jealous. We all know what that is. He's definitely getting jealous, but he doesn't ask. So they're riding home and they approach Muhan Zhang's land that was given to him in his dowry, which is very awful land. And Prince Jing Shao is like, hey, do you know who this land belongs to? Because I think this land is great. I would love to buy it off the person. And Muhan Zhang was like, yeah, actually, it's mine and it sucks. And so he's like, okay, I'll trade you. You can have this piece of land, which I didn't highlight what it was, but that doesn't necessarily matter. The point is, it was a very nice piece of land and much bigger. He was like, you can have that, and I will give you you can let me have this land, because he sees militaristic value in it, even though Muhanjang doesn't see any value because he can't really grow anything or build anything there. So, that was pretty cool. Then we have this Gu Zhuoyi person who we learn she is the key to pacifying the three feudatories. So at this point, we hadn't gotten more information on that, but that's just what that was. And then we also have Jing Shao really wanting Muhanjang's dad, Marquis Beiwei, on his side, but because they went to go visit him for his birthday and everything. But it's clear that he's showing favor to the prince Jing Yu. And so eventually they leave, and Muhan Zhang's a little bit disheartened by that. You said, "Oh, I think I remember her now." Okay, shh. so so anyway, um, what we learn is that Zhuo Yi wants to petition the emperor because she ran out. She saw Jing Yu and she ran out in front of him and was like, "Oh, please!" But Jing Shao happened to hear and see this because the traffic was stopped basically, and so he hurries out and goes in front of her first, because he remembers how things went in his past life. But she wants to petition the emperor. And Jing Shao is the one that approaches her. He's like, "I remember you." Then he knocks her unconscious and has her taken to the villa. And I was just like, is that how we're doing things? Why do we knock her unconscious? But okay, sure. So he said another great side character. Well, I can't wait to hear more about her. So of course, ending this chapter, Muhan Zhang is very jealous because he's like, okay, this woman caused him to leave me the first time when we were on the street, and then he hops out of the carriage again and brings her. So like, who is this woman? I don't like her. I'm very jealous, and I'm gonna write his name several times on a piece of paper. So then we get to chapter 25, jealous, which I think speaks for itself, right? The man is jealous and he ends up skipping out on dinner because, well, he's not in the mood. And it's funny because he had a lie that he told his page boy to tell. Meanwhile, his page boy is just like, yeah, so he doesn't have an appetite and he returned to the living quarters. And he was like, he was just going to be honest instead of giving the excuse that Muhan Zhang had fed him. Because as far as he was concerned, the princely consort was already sad enough without making up stories to spare the princess, ego and everything. So he was just like, yeah, this is what it really is. He's sad. And so you said, I have to tell you the difference they did in the manhua with this chapter specifically. Okay. Well, tell me. And then I'm gonna keep going over what I have in this chapter, and then I'll read what you say they put. Yes, there's a manhua to this. So because I want to know the difference as well. So anyway, Muhan Zhang is in the hot spring and he's got all of these, what I think cherry blossoms around him or some beautiful flower. And I'm going to show you the picture, you guys, because I also forgot to show you the other picture. Hold on. This is Ruoyi and Jing Shao approaching her when she's trying to do her petition. So then anyway, sorry, we have Muhan Zhang all hot in the springs, all by his lonesome. Like, oh my gosh, my husband fancies another woman. What am I going to do? I hate this so much. Meanwhile, Jing Shao comes to the hot spring and sees him, and he was like, why aren't you eating? And Muhan Zhang's like, why aren't you eating? And so eventually, I was really, really happy because, Jing Shao, of course, hurried and took his clothes off and hopped in the spring because, he saw his husband and he got thirsty again. Yeah. And so finally, he's like, there's something wrong. There's something bothering you. What is it? And Muhan Zhang, instead of holding his tongue, he says, like, okay, the lady from earlier today, are you planning to bring her in here as a concubine or what? And I was happy that he voiced his concern because sometimes people, like when we're insecure about something, we just let it fester instead of at least speaking what's on our mind and asking questions. And it's better to ask questions than it is to assume, So he finally was like, okay. Is this what you're planning to do? And Jing Shao pulled him into his lap and everything and was kissing all on him and everything to have that be his answer. But he also let Mu Hanzhang know that Ge Zhuoyi is the daughter of a merchant family in Dongnan, and the king of Dongnan wanted to take her eldest brother, their eldest son, as a pleasure slave. As a pleasure slave. And so eventually he ended up murdering her entire family just so he could have this man to himself. So that is what she was commissioning about petitioning the emperor for, to get revenge. And, of course, her brother ended up KOing himself permanently because he couldn't deal with the humiliation of that. And so Jing Shao, of course, tells, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Jing Shao tells Mu Hanzhang this, and he's like, that's it. Okay. And then I love it. He makes a promise and he says, I will never take a concubine again, nor will I marry another secondary wife. So he's like, there is you, and there is only you. Okay, baby. And it was so cute because Mu Hanzhang was like, wait, but like this man don't want children? How could he say that when he don't have kids? He can't get one from me. This isn't an impreg scenario. And so then eventually, like, he's just like, me too. And he doesn't voice it out loud, but me too, I'm also fond of you. And Jing Shao understands that that's what he's saying. And so I was just like, oh, that's so cute. You guys admitted your feelings to each other like fully, as much as Mu Hanzhang could. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And then what do they do in the hot spring? A little frottage. I think I can say that word. Yes, frottage. Yeah. And of course, it's all initiated by Jing Shao because Jing Shao is thirsty. So hopefully everyone knows what that word means. But if not, let me see how to explain this to an appropriate degree on YouTube. Jing Shao takes both of their pillars and strokes them together. I think that's a good way to put it. Let's see, you said it was so funny how they got around it like that. You said, yay, the miscommunication doesn't last 5 hours. Yes, that's another thing that I love about this is that it shows like the honest fears and doubts and stuff, or like a little moment of misunderstanding, but it's not the miscommunication trope. And I love that so much because I don't want no miscommunication. What did I say when we first started reading? And Jing Xiao was like, let's tell each other everything from now on. I was like, yep. Because I can't afford miscommunication between y'all. Nope. Mm-mm. You said, I mean, it's hard to hope for anything in such a society. So it's so important. Exactly. You said that word is worse than moist. Twin jade pillars. Yes, he takes their twin jade pillars and gives them a good rub down. Pillars is so SVSSS. So many SVSSS references. I think that's probably because it's all on Patreon right now. A chapter a day is being released, so it's pretty heavy in Patreon brain, right? You said you can't help it. SVSS is a parasite living in my brain. I feel it. I feel it 100%. So that's how they end that chapter. Momentary misunderstanding at one point, then that was solved, and momentary jealousy, that was solved. I love how all of these little issues are getting solved. Boom, 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 boom. You don't have to worry about them. You said Yubu is all about miscommunications. Yes. Well, I think Yubu is about some miscommunication, but also some deliberate lying and concealing information. So for all of the miscommunications that happen within Yuwu, I feel it's a bit more nuanced than just miscommunication. It's more acceptable there to me than in a lot of other cases where it's like, oh my gosh, you could have easily avoided that. Like, come on. It's there are a lot of factors to consider in Yuwu, but yeah, there was definitely miscommunication, but there was also concealing things and just a whole bunch of other factors. So you said you've gotten to love it so much more over time. SVSSS? Yes. If that's what you're talking about. I just like when I read SVSSS this past last time for you guys on Patreon, having to like read it out loud and truly analyze it and everything for my video that will release on the 1st, I was like, man, I love this series so freaking much. Like this is definitely, it's not my favorite because again, nothing has taken Thousand Autumn's place yet. But like it's why it's in my top 5 because SVSSS is so good. Yuwu is about refusal to communicate. I love that. Yes, that is definitely what that is. Yes, like the concealing, it's the refusal to communicate. Yes. And of course, there are some reasons for that, but yeah, people just refusing to communicate with each other. You said we're waiting on you to explain Neko Neko. Yeah, I finished the chapter and I'm waiting on you to explain what happens in the manhwa. Did you disappear? Come back. Baby, come back. You said you did. Oh, wait. Wait, I have to go through the comments again. You haven't gotten into extras yet because pain and stuff. Arha? I plan to finish Arha in the beginning of next year. I really, truly do. I'm going to probably sometime in January or February, I am going to read it along with, I don't know the person's name from Gay Watch, but I'm going to listen to them read it while I also hold my book and read it myself. So we'll see. Because I just been procrastinating because I don't want to deal with the pain. You said you have to tell the difference. There's a manhwa. Okay, I'm looking. You said it was so funny how they got around it like that. Looking for the explanation. Okay, you're in and out of buffering hell. Did you get my comments on the manhwa difference? No, we didn't. So, no, we didn't. I just looked through the comments and I can't see them. So, no, we didn't. I literally read the comment right after your explanation. Your comment's not there. Yeah, I mean, your explanation is not there. So we don't see it. Please tell us the difference so we can know what happened. Maybe it got eaten by Wi-Fi. That's definitely what happened. Yeah, so it didn't post. So we're just gonna wait for a second so you can put it again before we go to the next chapter because I'd love to hear the difference. Did YouTube censor you? It's on your feed? I don't know. Well, copy paste it. They shouldn't have because on my I mean, unless you put something really bad, right? And if I said, what did you write? Because in my live sessions, when it comes to censoring comments, I have it on the lowest setting possible because I mean, like, I'm not gonna have it heavily censored or have to do anything like that. That just seems like overkill. So unless you put something really, really crazy, but I'm willing to bet it's just a glitch. It's probably all that happened. So there was a Bean Hood joke in there somewhere. Let's make it. And see, what are we on? You guys got chapter 28 coming this evening. Yeah, you're almost done. The last chapters or the last 2 chapters are released on the 31st. So there's always a Bing Hood joke. It was too big. So the censors can't depict what they actually did. So instead, Jing Shao was depicted instead having underwater fun. Oh, I see. Interesting. Right. Of course, they can't show that stuff. So, what, he's just like swimming under the water or something? You said, did they just have like water waving? Gotta love censorship, right? The surface ruffled violently. I wish I could just easily see it and look it up. Underwater mouth to other body part. Oh, quite interesting. That's much different than grabbing the heavenly pillars. Wait, I don't see. I don't see how that's any better. How is that censorship? I'm not understanding. That's not censorship at all. It's like, you just gave him something different to do. Hmm. He has to come up for air. Oh God. Did my thing turn off? It did. It's dead. Okay. You said Muhan was only above water with a particular expression. That's so funny. That's so censored. Yeah, sure. So I've never heard of censorship going from stroking two jade pillars to having to just having someone put their mouth. That's, I'm so sorry. I keep laughing. That's quite the censorship. I wish the censorship worked a little better like that in other scenarios. That's so funny. They were really big on what you could see. Someone just got their freak on. Okay. I'm calm. Let's move to the second to last chapter, shall we? So the next day, we have Jojin, which is the vice minister's gentleman wife. I think it's sometimes put in here like that. He takes Muhanjang to the capital's monthly gathering of gentleman wives. So, Muhanjang, he goes there, and a lot of people are familiar with Jojin. He's clearly well respected. So they're like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going?" Joe as in ZHOU, not Joe as in JOE. But they're like, "Whoa, who's this guy beside you?" And he's like, "Oh, this is, Prince Chang's consort, Muhanjang, Joe." and so and so they're like, "Oh man, hi, nice to meet you." And then one guy's like, "Hey, I remember you. You're the erudite gentleman," which is basically just like, knowledgeable and hold on. Yeah, having great knowledge and learning. He used to write poetry. And so having someone recognize him and use that title, it made him feel good on the inside. He was like, look at me. Like, oh my, yeah, that was me. I was just dabbling. That's all. In a little poetry. Thank you. So Muhan Jong was very happy about that. And we learn in these little interactions that most of the gentlemen wives are very unhappy because the majority of them were forced to marry another man against their own will. And it's not something that they wanted to do. It's not something that they planned on doing. And since most men are not raised to think, okay, one day you're going to become a wife, a lot of them do not know / did not know how to take care of the wife duties. So I just found that to be very interesting because, yeah, societally speaking, even to this very day, no man is taught you're going to grow up and become a wife. If anything, they're taught that they're going to grow up and become the provider. And so it's very understandable why a lot of them would have this issue of like, okay, I'm being married to a man against my will, and I have to be the woman. Like, I don't like the sound of this. An easy way for families to get rid of competition. Exactly. Very, very easy. So that was just very interesting because, of course, Jojin and Muhanjang are not in those kind of scenarios. Well, Muhanjang was forced to marry Jing Shao, but they're happy, And then apparently from Jojin and Xiao Yuan, their relationship is very good. And so, what do we have while they're in there and talking and chatting? And Muhanjang is just saying that these guys, yes, have no standing, and they're just unhappy. A cousin, or just say a relative, comes in, if you will. It said he was the nephew of Beiwei, which would just mean he's a cousin. So anyway, he comes in and he's like, "Oh, it's just my cousin Mu Hanjong," basically. Like, I thought it was someone special, but it's really not. And this is Du Ying Hao. Oopsie, wrong letter. Du Ying Hao. Ugly name, if I might add. Oh gosh, hold on. Yeah. So this guy shows absolute disrespect. He's married into the house of Mao, which apparently is like the biggest one for having all the male wives or whatever. And he's not happy. And the other person that's with him is like, "Hey, be respectful, But anyway, that is what it is. So he and Muhanjang were classmates for about 5 years. He's clearly jealous of Muhanjang. And so he made his life difficult in all that time. Yay, because we love it when people make things difficult for our male leads. So eventually, he also spreads a rumor. Well, he doesn't spread a rumor. He says things in a way to make certain implications by saying, "Oh, I heard that Prince Chung ran after some woman and then took her to his villa. Oh, is he getting himself another concubine or something?" Because everybody had just found out that, Jing Shao had gotten rid of the ladies, basically. So at first they were like, "Wow, that's super cool. Like, he's fortunate," only to be like, "Oh no, I guess even the prince, he's no different." And so they all perceived Muhan Zhang's situation to be the same as theirs. Meanwhile, Jing Shao shows up on his horse and he was like, "Oh, I thought it was getting too late, babe. So I came to pick you up." And Muhan Zhang, of course, he's not an openly affectionate person, but in that moment, he's like, "Take my hand." And so Jing Shao gets him on the horse and everything. They ride off together in the sunset. Not necessarily, but they ride off together. And then everybody else becomes a little jealous of that, if you will. And they're like, "Oh, I guess they really do have a good relationship." I'm trying to turn the page back. Oh, what are you doing? Yes, it said from that day on, word that Prince Chung deeply cherished his consort quickly spread throughout the elite circles. So I just love that moment because even when Du Ying Hao was trying to stir up trouble, Wu Hanjiang was just like, "Okay, whatever." Then his husband came and he was like, "Let me flex really quickly." All right, here we go. So that was really nice. Very, very nice. I love it. So basically, for the rest of that chapter, you said Joe got a free fancy ride home too, right? Also, I really like this horse named Shadow. But anyway, we don't get a lot about the horse, but shout out to horse. So for the rest of that chapter, they are basically enjoying their time together, also doing their own little things. And then they come together again to help finish copying the art of war. Because if they don't, this man is not going to get his punishment finished. Not only that, but Jing Shao did submit the memorial on behalf of Gojoye. But for now, the matters concerning Dongnan and all of that are going to be suppressed because it's just not the time, is basically what the emperor decides on. Like, they don't have anything concrete or anything good enough to just like declare war or go fighting them or anything like that. So he's like, killing her family right now, I mean, they could just say the family committed some kind of stupid crime that they didn't really commit, and then boom, that would be the end of that. So we just have to wait. So that brings us to chapter 27, which was the last one for today. Let me look at my notes. So of course, This chapter automatically starts off just letting us know, like, at some point, the fight between the feudatories is going to happen. Like, that's something that's inevitable and it's gonna come. We'll see when it comes. But anyway, while Jing Shao had left the palace and everything, and he's thinking about this, his horse Shadow just naturally takes him to his brother's estate. And so eventually, of course, he's like, it would be suspicious if right after meeting with the emperor, he's with his brother, but his brother shows up. So what they do is they go to a public place, which I think is nice. They went to the Flavors of Nostalgia, which they're always, somebody is always going to the Flavor of Nostalgia. Anyway, I want to go. Is the food that good? So anyway, they go there and they're chatting and everything about the empress. She wants to find a consort for the fourth prince, and Jing Shao really wants to make sure that it isn't Marquis Beiwei's daughter, because if it would be inconvenient for Mu Hanzhong if his sister was married to the fourth prince, because what happens if they end up having discord or something like that, then like that puts him in a difficult position. Like, what is he supposed to do when something like that happens? But not only that, Jing Shao also wants Marquis Beiwei on his side, because the horse trade is going to be a lot more useful, in his opinion, than the Mu clan's like military power. Because they apparently have more military power, but he's like, no, the stuff with Beiwei is going to be more useful, brother. So like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So then he eventually goes to Gozhuoyi to tell her what the emperor said. And in the end, he's like, no matter what, you're going to get your revenge. I promise you that. This prince promises you that. It's just not the time right now. So he was like, what we can do is you could wait a couple years and I'll take care of it. I don't mind getting my hands dirty, and you just might send somebody else out to do it. Or you can learn how to use concealed weapons yourself and get your own revenge. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's fine. You can think about it. Just come to me when you know. And she was like, I want to get my own revenge. And then that's it. And so he's like, okay. And he goes to Mu Hanzhong. He's like, how did you know that she was gonna, pick that as an option? But anyway, so then we have the fourth prince, going off to, where was it again? He was going to handle the barbarians. And finally, Jing Shao sends concubine Liu, not concubine Li, but Liu, to the fourth prince as a gift. So now it's officially just Jing Shao and Mu Hanzhong. Now, Madame Song is still there, but she's a serving concubine. So that is where we left off. And of course, we have them copying the art of war together and whatnot. But that was where things left off. You said, teach her how to fight. Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, teach her how to fight. Teach her how to get her own revenge. Leave everything in her hands. Why get y'all hands dirty? So that's where things left off. Very, very interesting. Very, very exciting. And I just, again, am amazed by how this story is going, because they could have definitely taken the route of, oh, he already has concubines and a secondary wife. Let's stir up the trouble to make this like drive the plot as far as ways to torture the male lead and to give him problems within the estate. And I really appreciate that Lu Ye Tianhe was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to get rid of them. Like, they're going to try to start some trouble. We're just going to get rid of them. Let's just do that. Now, don't get me wrong. Madame Song is still there, so it is possible that some trouble could be stirred. However, her power is not that great anymore. There is no power. And I just really like that. It was like, yeah, we're not going to do this. Just flick them away. You said, yeah, they go almost immediately. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's like, please go away. So that is where we are. That was chapters 21 through 27. So next, we do chapters chapters 28 through 33. We're reading those today. That is about 50 pages or so. a little slightly over 50 pages of reading. So we can discuss that tomorrow at the same time. But how are you guys enjoying this story so far? Like, I know I've expressed my joy and excitement on how things are developing, just as far as like the trust that's being built between our two main characters, even though the relationship is established. I also like the things that normally take place in other stories, not necessarily Danmei, but just in other stories in ancient Chinese times are not happening in this novel. So we don't have to worry about those things. It's just nice to see a different take. But yes, how are y'all enjoying the story? For those of you who have already binged it, then how did you like the story? Without spoilers. You said, yeah, you finished it with your own two suffering eyeballs in like 2 days. Are your eyeballs okay now? And you like it. You said you love it, even when you already know what's going to happen. I mean, I think that's great. It's great to love it, even if you already know what's going to happen. Yeah. Leave me in the dark. I can't see anything. So, yeah. For the, okay, yeah. So I'm thinking we can do chapters 28 through 33 today. Take the time to read them. Neko's like, shh. Yes. No, say nothing. No, say nothing. And then we can discuss that tomorrow. Then read 34 through the end and discuss that on Tuesday. Hold on. Yep, on Tuesday. And then we'll have our New Year celebration on Wednesday. What did you say? Oh my gosh, someone's car. They are strange companion books. It was really interesting reading it along with hearing Imperial Uncle in the other ear. Wait a minute. You were reading and listening simultaneously to two different stories? Or not at the same time? Please clarify. Cause whoa. Um you said because it's so long since the manhwa, it's been great to rediscover why I liked it. Oh yes. And I'm sure like you're getting more details on things since we're reading the novel together because of course manhwas, mangas and all that stuff they're great, but some of the context might be missed or even just like smaller things. So you said you just dissociated through this entire life. Ujma blanket took you. You're a blanket victim. That's okay. I appreciate you for being here. Also, you didn't even read the chapters, so of course you dissociated. I'm not surprised at all. He said, this is why I am not scared to get spoiled. I can't even name a single character. Ujma, Ujma, I appreciate you being here. But it doesn't matter if you're listening or not. You're counting as a view. So like, yay! You said LOL. Everyone gets nicknames. I would love to know what the what the names are of people that you've given, if you've given any. You said you just don't usually read two books at once, but reading this with eyeballs, they used it to, to it, and then resting eyeballs by listening to you. Okay, while you go to sleep, the blanket possessed you. Kind of want to draw now. Blanket possession. You usually have an audiobook and a physical book or fanfic. Yeah, so right now, I'm reading this in my own time, which I have to say, I've gotten used to it again. But you guys, it's been a long time since I've read a book quietly because every Danmei book that I've picked up all last year, except for I think Arha volume 5 and 6, has been to read on this channel. And so when I first started reading this, it was so weird. I was like, it's weird to read things in my head now. I've been reading out loud so much. And like, even with the fan fiction that I've read, sometimes I do read it in my head, but the majority of the time I highlight the words and then right click and do series speech to read it to me because I've gotten so used to reading out loud. It's been quite the experience. So you were drawing on the side, different stories. Um, creepy drawings. You want to share your drawings? I would love to see you guys' drawings in the community. Look, I'm always trying to get you guys in the community. Don't worry. Next year I won't be saying it so much because we'll have fully. I understand. Honestly, the blanket is probably going to consume me at some point and I'm gonna take a nap. Take me with you. I hope you have a great night. Oh my gosh. Okay. Blanket burp. You guys say some funny stuff. So I keep saying I'm gonna go and then don't go. So we're going to go now. I will see you all tomorrow. Make sure that you read chapters 28 through 33, and we will discuss those tomorrow at the exact same time. And I'm excited. So, see y'all tomorrow. And have a great day or night, whichever one you're in. And what enemy? What enemy? What Eineman? Saranghe. Oh God, I can't speak. What's wrong with me?